Welcome everyone to this North Macedonian episode of the Caravan Tour of Terror, a show that finds us touring the globe through the medium of horrific, chilling and disturbing entertainment. My name's Donald, and I'm the driver on this quest. Joining me at my side, as always, with a road atlas on his lap and a new fondness for staring blankly and eating hay, is my navigator Ali. Say hello, Ali. I hope you can talk.
Zdravo!
Well done.
Donald.
Well done.
So Google Translate doesn't have voice output for Macedonian, so I had to just
Oh no, it's a
wing
guess.
that one.
Oh no.
But it does have, thankfully it has the anglicised rather than just the Cyrillic characters, because I would have just given up at that point.
Well, as you may have guessed, this episode we're in North Macedonia, which was until 2019 known simply as Macedonia. And Macedonia still exists and has existed as a larger region, including parts of Greece, North Macedonia, Bulgaria, Albania, Serbia, and Kosovo. I need to learn a lot more about this clearly, but we don't have time to talk about that in this podcast. I'm very ignorant about this part of the world. But you want to ballpark where we are? We're directly north of Greece, sandwiched nice and snug between Bulgaria and Albania. All right? Everyone cool?
I feel comfy and cozy between all those
very
countries.
nice, very nice. I'm sure we're already offending people because of all the politics of the
Oh,
area.
yeah. I mean, it could have been worse. You could have said, we're in Yugoslavia today.
We are even more specifically at Camping Lakeside on the banks of Lake Ohrid, only a few kilometres away from the town of Struga. Isn't that nice?
Oh, lovely.
Lake Ohrid is one of Europe's deepest and oldest lakes, with hundreds of species unique to this area. And the restaurant next door to this campsite catches fish from the lake and cooks them up for us. That's good, isn't it?
Oh, you ever had fresh fish straight from the lake?
Yes. Loch.
Oh, it's lovely. It's lovely. I've had langoustine straight from the lake.
Are they freshwater? I feel like...
Yeah.
Are they? Mm-hmm. All right, we're getting off on a massive tangent anyway. It's a really nice lake. Don't go dumping the chemical toilet into it late at night. All right, Ali, I know you're a lazy little sausage, but there's a free disposal unit over there, all right?
I will poop straight into the lake.
Oh, God. I've also bought us a bottle of the national drink, which I know you'll enjoy. It's called Mastika. It's a liquor flavoured with mastic resin from the mastic tree. It's said to taste herbal and piney, which I know is what you specifically look for in your liqueurs. Isn't that right?
I am not a masticist.
That was awful. Why the fuck are we in North? I know, maybe it's just because it's been a wee while. I don't know. I'm being super extra generous to you. I don't know. Why are we here?
Why are we here? We're here because we were watching the 2022.
I know.
It's the most recent film we've watched.
Illegal rip. Downloaded on the internet.
The 2022 Goran Stolevski directed You Won't Be Alone.
You Won't Be Alone. I kept getting this name slightly wrong, and there's a Michael Jackson song, I think, that's called something close to it or something. I don't know. I was confused. You Won't Be Alone, yes.
I kept in my head getting it mixed up with You Were Never Really Here.
Yeah.
Hacking Phoenix.
Yeah. Is that the one where he's a hitman?
Yes.
Yeah,
it's,
that's a really
the
good
Scottish director that did Kevin.
That's a really good movie. Total tangent already. That's a really good movie. So before you talk about the plot of this movie, I will say that I don't care to talk about the plot very much. Okay?
I'm actually going to agree with you on that one, and we can get into why later.
Yeah, just give us, a little
brief breakdown.
Back of the DVD cover.
Yep. Set in 19th century Macedonia, while Macedonia was under rule of the Ottoman Empire.
Good little bit of history there, Ali.
A mother finds a witch threatening her child, essentially. And to combat that, she hides her in a cave after she makes a deal with the witch that on her 16th birthday, she will give her child to the witch. Mm-hmm. So instead of enjoying 16 years with her child, she shoves her in a cave.
I don't actually already understand that. I mean, because I've already interrupted.
It's a bad decision.
Because she's like, she goes to the village and she's like, the witch has taken my child, so she's keeping it secret.
Yes.
I don't think it really fools the witch, though. So I don't really
It does
understand.
not, because 16 years later, the witch comes and takes
Hello.
the child.
Yeah.
She is turned into a witch herself.
Witch spit.
Yep. And the main power of these witches is the ability to shapeshift into whatever creature they can rip the guts out of
Yeah.
and shove into their chest.
Yeah, a bit of flair.
That might sound like I've given away a lot of the plot. I haven't. That is the basic setup. We follow Navina, the 16-year-old, through her learning her new powers as well as learning to live in the outside world. And that is basically the main outline of that story. And similar to Donald, I don't really want to go too deep into the plot of this movie because it is a very moment-to-moment kind of movie, and it is also probably one of... We tend to go into the plot of movies when they're not necessarily not significant, but where there are larger things at play rather than just the basic the basic bit to bit of the story. Whereas I feel in this one, the story is the movie, and I know that sounds daft, but it is. It's what I think. All right.
Beer daft. What? So witch spitting is an important concept as well as the safe shit. So a witch can make one other person a witch, basically,
Yeah.
by spitting blood on them, and they like to drink blood. They're kind of vampires.
Scratching them,
yeah.
spitting into the wound.
Yeah.
Don't try that at home.
And people don't like witches. That's not a thing.
No, and they get Wolverine claws.
Yeah, they get disgusting. No, they're saber-tooth claws. They're like black, disgusting nails.
True, but there is one that comes out either like the bottom of their palm or like the top of the wrist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Will we just take turns talking about bits of this film?
Absolutely.
In no kind of order. It's in 4:3 aspect ratio, which I didn't know. And at first I was like, I better Google to make sure it's 4:3 because...
I did the exact same thing.
But, I mean, not only is the aspect ratio correct on the version we watched, the subtitles were better than most of the ones on Shudder, so that's good. And so right away it starts off with very kinetic camera work in 4:3. And I think 4:3 ratio works very well because a big part of the movie is... the main character that I don't remember. What was her name? I don't remember. Her inner space and inner thoughts and inner monologue, all her reactions. So she's mute. So a lot of the monologue actually switches to other characters, but it is mostly just her. And I think 4:3 helps to emphasize kind of her isolation and the inner monologue kind of stuff. It does work quite well. I like that aspect of it works. So I didn't think it was just 4:3 for 4:3's sake.
Totally. Absolutely agree. Yeah, the 4:3 ratio does really give that kind of, especially in those early scenes with her in the cave.
Yeah,
gives that kind of claustrophobic, isolated feel to the whole.
And actually, the cave's really tall, and it just emphasizes the height of it. It's very vertical, and then there's a lot of close-up shots on actors' faces, which it also helps with. The voiceover is slightly weirdly distorted, like it's been done like this. Like I'm talking directly into the microphone right now, and there's slightly... I didn't know if that was... It's an odd thing, because I think it's a purposeful choice. It definitely did sound slightly like it had gone wrong, but I don't know if it was supposed to emphasize... I don't know, her isolation from the rest of the world kind of thing. I don't know.
To me, I felt it was more just that distinction between your inner thoughts and the outside world. Given that more, it's not distorted. It's more just up close, echoing. It's like
ASMR, but it's that ASMR where you can hear the microphone effect. It's not the same as just speech.
Yeah,
it is odd. It was an odd choice. I mean, it's just an odd choice. But I was just like, that does sound peculiar almost right away. So anyway, that's all I want to say on that. I don't have any opinions on that. I was a bit like, maybe it was a bit annoying, but I'm not an ASMR kind of guy.
No?
Anyway, no, I'm not. No, I think it's fucking pointless. Anyway.
We basically go through the different lives of Navina as she shapeshifts. Her first one being, and again, I'm not going to like go into specifics, just broader points. But it's split into these sections where she's just learning different aspects of the world.
Yeah.
First of all, it's her with Old Maid Maria, the witch that turned her, stole her, whatever you want to call it. And her just basically living outside of the cave.
Yeah, where she has been living apparently for 16 years with virtually no contact with the outside world, and she's mute. So
one thing
she's
I will
childlike.
Note, and it was something that I noticed early on, and then just kind of gave it the, put it out of my mind. It's that kind of suspension of disbelief part. She knows a lot about the outside world for someone that lives in a cave.
Well, I mean, it's, yeah.
She talks about specific types of birds and like trees and I'm like, how would you know any of this?
Well, maybe
You've
her
never seen
mother
a tree.
told her about that, but there's also weird moments where she'll taste some hay or what's a tear? It's...
Do you mean eye water?
Eye water, yes.
Yeah, totally. It's this initial her and Old Maid Maria. Maria's trying to teach her how to live as a witch, isolated, away from humanity, and is very like, you do not want to go near people. People will destroy you physically or mentally.
Wait, is that Old Maid Maria saying that? Because her mother also said that, but about demons.
Yes.
This woman's not had a good run of maternal figures.
I'll shove you in a cave for 16 years and see how you come out. But Navina's kind of innocence, kind of her willingness to try new things and explore the world really grates on Maria.
Yeah.
To the point where she eventually abandons her.
Yeah.
And Navina, left on her own, is through various means integrates herself within different societies throughout.
Yeah, that's the base of the film.
Yeah. And through each of these different
perspectives.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. She learns different parts of society, of life, of the way communities interact, the way how people perceive other people.
Mm-hmm.
And she does it's strange because she's got a very strong sense of innocence that all these communities in one way or another try to take from her. But Maria's so you get a bit of backstory into Maria later on. I'm not going to go too deep into that, but you learn why Maria is so bitter, is probably the best way to put it. I
probably will go into it a little bit later on, but we're fine.
That's fine. We can pop spoiler warning, etc. But yeah, Maria is very, very bitter and reserved, and eventually jealous of the way that Navina is at least attempting to do this.
The important thing about the story isn't really the witchy stuff. It's actually her isolation, because the whole movie is about her learning about society, but she's also really terrible at fitting in.
Oh, awful.
She's really bad at fitting in because she literally is completely clueless. And then to survive and blend in, she's shapeshifting into these people. So one of the people she shapeshifts into is Nomi Rapace.
Did you look that up?
Obviously. And I would strongly urge any fans of Nomi to not really take the fact that she's on the poster, is in the thumbnail for all the trailers on IMDb, and is the first build star as an indication of how much she's in this film, because it's less than 20 minutes. I actually was confused, and I was like, she's not an old maid Maria, is she? And I was like, no, she doesn't look like that. I mean, obviously, I was like, no, because old maid Maria is under a ton of makeup. I was like, no, I still don't think that's her. And then, yeah, she turns up for a bit, wanders around bollock naked for a bit, because this is like early on when what's her face? The girl doesn't know anything about anything, and then it's okay. It gets chalked up to women madness. So her mother-in-law's like, "I'll just teach you how to do everything that you should know how to do again, like basic taking care of yourself stuff. Also, you have a child that you've had, but you've kind of it's fine. We'll just teach you everything again. It's fine."
Yeah.
It was very odd. The whole time I was like, what is this woman thinking? Like, okay, woman madness, but fucking hell, like, what's happened to your daughter-in-law here? It's very strange.
Yeah, very, very weird. To go from like literally like working the fields, being a contributing member to this community, to 20 minutes later you find her unable to speak,
naked,
and
covered in blood.
Yep, and unable to interact with society properly.
Very odd. It's just. I mean, the suspension of disbelief, which you said earlier, I was like, this is just. It's a lot to try and take in.
It was, but with that, I took it's. To me, I took that as the kind of the peasant mentality of superstition, or strange forces abound, and their fear of they accept it because they need her in the society. They're not just going to cast her out, and they don't know X, Y, and Z, i.e. mental illness or blah blah blah, but it's all just this, she's been taken by the spooky spirits have taken her mind, that kind of idea of the simple mindedness of small communities. Right. Sorry. Fucking Jesus.
A booty cat.
Bloody cat's getting into the caravan.
So, it's kind of like this girl's tour around different perspectives of society. That's what it is. More than a witch movie. Let's get that straight out of the road. It's strange to say that because there's a lot of witchy stuff in it, but still, it's mostly about society, really.
Absolutely, and I will be going deeper into that later on.
Sure. She's a dog for a bit.
She has a dog for a bit.
Watches a load of guys have a wee wank together. That was a strange scene that went nowhere because she was only a dog for like 30 seconds.
That one was. It does serve a purpose, thankfully, that moment. But yes, it is very like, hey, I'm a dog. Right, on to the next bit.
I think hey, I'm a dog is exactly how I thought as well.
I would say that the three main roles she takes on are as a woman, a man, and a child. Yeah. So basically your three, big aspects of society, especially in this kind of area, and it's how these different roles are seen within these communities.
Women don't have it so good.
No, they don't.
The little girl, she comes across a little girl who's died of natural causes. Then she goes back to the little girl. She's the man first for a bit, and she quite enjoys that. She even has a bit of the old sexy sex, which is pleasurable for the first time, because when she was a woman, less so. The whole there's a thing later where they're talking about like a woman's role in sex, and it's like, don't act like you enjoy that much, and he can have it whenever he wants.
Especially as a virgin.
Yeah.
Virgins shouldn't enjoy sex.
Yeah.
It's unseemly.
But when she takes the guy's appearance, that's after they do say he's a horn dog, but she like entices him sort of when she's nude down to the river, and then they start maybe getting into a bit of stuff. Then he's obviously rough and rapey, and then she kills him, which is not the only time that happens in this film. But I was just like, she's grown the weird velociraptor claws at that point. I was like, dude, what the fuck?
He doesn't care.
He doesn't really
He doesn't care. And they're retractable. She could have just went.
They're creepy, but like the society knows what do they call them again? Sorry,
Wolf eatresses.
Wolf eatresses.
Yes.
Yes, the society knows what they are, and they know they're to be feared.
Yes, in fact, when she appears as the man, the community thinks that his mind has been taken by a wolf eatress. Yeah. Not that his body has been taken by a wolf eatress. One thing I will say, just on the production side of this movie, the cast are not made up of Macedonians. The Navina is played by an Australian, Nomi Rapace.
Yeah,
is Swedish,
I think.
And you've got
Rapaz.
You've got Portuguese. You've got Romanian, and I am by no means an expert on the Macedonian language.
I thought you were.
But they do. I don't notice any one person not stilted language or I'm like, oh god, that person really doesn't know how to speak this language. Like, it all comes through very, very naturally.
Yeah, it's unusual.
The
director was Australian Macedonian, and that had its own entry in Wikipedia. So I was like, wow, there must be quite the Macedonian population in Australia.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah.
And as well as it's a very simple movie in terms of like production. It's simple sets. I mean, I'm sure it took them a long time to build those villages and stuff, but just in the sense of like, you're looking at huts, you're looking at forests, you're looking at rivers. But the few effects that are used throughout the movie are very well done.
Now, I will pick up on one thing.
Okay.
I was not a fan of the look of old maid Maria.
Really?
Yes.
I thought that was really well done.
I think it looks like a rubbery suit, and spoilers, I don't care. So she's been burnt. And I don't think that... It's strange because I'm like, is it supposed to be a reveal that she's been burnt? And I honestly wasn't sure because obviously we don't know what...
Her backstory is. The moment from when she appears.
Yeah, we don't know, like, maybe this is a wolf eatress's final form, and maybe this is what the... Have you seen a bug? Oh, he's going to sneeze. Oh, he's lost it now. He's so annoyed. Maybe this is what all wolf eatresses eventually look like. And then you find out, no, she was discovered and burnt like decades ago, maybe centuries ago.
So for me, the moment she appeared, I was like, man, she's been burned. But like, genuinely, straight off the bat, I was like, that is a woman that's been burned.
No, that's the one. No. I would actually think it would look better because she looks just like her whole skin is made of brain texture. I just don't think... I think it would actually have been better if she looked more recognizably burnt in terms of making her somewhat pitiable. I can't actually think of the word I'm thinking of. Anyway, if you had a bit more sympathetic is probably what I was thinking of. If you had a bit more sympathy for her straight out the bat. But I honestly don't think she looks burnt. I just think you just look weird. I honestly don't like it.
Which is fair. I can totally see that side of it. But for me, I was like, that looks like a person that's been burned beyond what a human would be able to survive.
I understand. Yes, I know that there is that element of it. They regenerate. I don't know why she didn't regenerate because they can regenerate. But
Yeah.
she didn't, so it's odd. But I do know that there is a part of, yes, so she would have been burnt more than a human being would, so maybe that's what a witch looks like when they burn. Blah. I do understand that, but I'm also like...
and it was never so bad that I was like, oh, that just looks like a stupid suit. Like, I just genuinely was like, that's pretty good makeup. Yep, I'm quite happy with that.
Yeah. I mean, the effect of her on fire was actually very good.
That, like... I stared at it a little too hard, and I was like, "Okay, I can see that's effects."
Yeah.
But my god, like
Yeah,
I've seen worse fire effects on like $1 million budget movies.
Fire
It was
is really hard
excellent.
to get. Yeah,
really
fire
good.
is really hard to get right. So I do give it props for that. 100%. So right, well, I fucking spoiled that, but anyway, so it's fine. So part of the childhood possession bit of this film is they get to hear a nice campside story about old maid Maria and how the reason why she's so bitter and cruel now is because she was arranged to be married to a dying man. They then made, without her knowledge, made the man rape her because part of their customs or beliefs is he can't die a virgin, so he doesn't have any.
He's an unman.
Yeah. So she has no thing in that. Then they find out she's a witch, they burn her, blah. Obviously she's going to be really annoyed, and I was sitting here going, this is a story, the kids, don't they have Paw Patrol back where they're from? Why the fuck?
But they said they wanted a scary story.
Yeah, there's scary stories. Then there's, it's not actually as much a scary story as a story about horrific rape and stuff. That's true.
You could also argue that, what we're seeing, the old grandmother telling the story is putting in more flowery language or, omitting X, Y, and Z. No, but genuinely. With Old Maid Maria, her main thing is before she gets basically tricked and kidnapped to perform this, she wants a husband and a child, and she's an old maid. She is. But the Ottomans have gone round and basically killed most, if not all, eligible men.
Yeah.
So she meets a witch and asks. She's very brazen about it, I will say. She's just like basically keeps stopping the witch and is like, give me a husband and child. Give me one. And without saying a word, the witch scratches her and spits on her and walks away. And she's like, oh, fuck.
I thought that would be a bigger deal for witches. You only get one.
I know, right? But so that's where... So right after that is when she gets her eligible bachelor.
Yeah.
But I feel especially the you only get one is much more Maria's hang-up than it is Witch's hang-ups. Because Maria is specifically looking for a child. She's specifically looking for kin of, I want someone like me. I want someone that I can raise the way that I want to raise them. But because of her circumstances, that gets so twisted that's why when Navina doesn't turn out to be the cold, horrible person that she wants her to be, she discards her and is disappointed that was her one chance. And it is very much about how Maria views the world compared to how Navina views the world eventually, of learning all these things, and even the bad aspects of what happens to Navina, and there are many, she still has this curiosity, this want, this willingness to learn, to interact, to integrate in a way that Maria just can't understand.
I won't spoil the very end, by the way.
Yes, no, totally.
I won't spoil the very end. That's right.
One thing I will say is North Macedonia looks a lot like Scotland.
I don't think it's actually filmed in North Macedonia, to be fair. I think it's Serbia. I'm not 100% on that. Let's have a look.
It's but some of the scenery shots are absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like and that really plays into all of like the ideas and themes of the movie. Like that landscape is used to excellent effect. Because Navina in her inner monologues often talks about how, you know, the sky and the fields, and as you said, she starts eating hay because it's it's more just this. It's not that she's
Serbia! It is Serbia.
when we say eating hay, it's not like she's grabbing handfuls and like shoving it in her mouth.
She's putting hay in her mouth.
Yeah, but it's like it's like an infant learning.
Yeah.
It's that kind of just that tactile trying to discover things with her mouth or hands.
She's been in a cave for 16 years, which just has rocks and smaller rocks.
Yep.
Fun for her.
Fun for her.
Do you want to go to theme corner? I feel like you're just on the precipice of theme corner at all times.
Because I've... So I'll tell you what, we're going to go into... Theme corner.
Are you gonna? What is it?
I am loving this new
I see.
theme song.
I see. I get it.
And the reason I'm so thinking about Theme Corner this week is because this movie's just themes.
Yeah.
And it is all about isolation, community, and gender roles.
Yeah.
And it takes these one by one, starting with her isolation, both in the terms of her living in a cave, but when she takes her first form as Nomi, she is isolated from the community. She doesn't know how to communicate. She doesn't know how to integrate. She is essentially stunted in the terms of, like, you know, all the women are standing around talking and laughing, and she's mimicking them, but she isn't part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same with that community of this is what the men do, and when the men are around, this is what the women do, but when the men aren't around, this is what the women do, and how the different genders are seen and interact and are treated not only by each other but within their own gender groups.
Yeah.
You know, when she moves on to being the man, she gets a lot more slack.
Yeah.
You know, she still gets teased. She still gets scolded because it's you know, all the men go out to the field at one point and are scything the grass. It did not look like any sort of like usable grain or anything. It just looked like grass. And you know, he doesn't have the technique, so he's kind of fucking about. Yeah, and one of the guys says, "Can we not just have one day without messing around, essentially, without tomfoolery?" Rather than this, when she's not performing her role as a woman, she is not only abused by her husband, who expects her to act exactly like he expects her to act, but also by the other women of, you can't be like that, you have to be like this. This is what women are like in the society. And then it's this complete turnaround when she becomes the child. She's a small girl, but the way that the children are cared for and protected and it's something that she
Yeah, I
never
mean,
had.
Yeah, and she is basically still a child, effectively.
Yeah, and another, let's say, suspension of disbelief. She ages as the child,
Yeah,
and then learns how to integrate herself with her limitations without being able to speak, without being able to do the things that everyone else is able to do. But she learns, and she makes herself a useful part of this society and these communities. And also, it's partly on Maria's side. It's the power of pain, the power of betrayal. That no matter how happy or willing Navina is to perform these roles, Maria cannot accept it. She constantly so she reappears throughout the story.
I hate those moments.
Yeah, like she is a dick. She is like I said it out loud at one point during the movie. I was like, "You're just a dick."
They're gonna find out.
Very
Bye.
much. Very much of this. You're a fool. Like you're just gonna get yourself hurt. You're just gonna. They're all gonna turn on you. But Navina is too stubborn. And that power of pain just grates on
She also
Maria.
doesn't have a choice, to be fair. What the hell else is she gonna do?
Go with Maria again.
But Maria was abusive towards her, so it's like,
Yeah.
well, I'm gonna stick here.
But
It's not even like she's trying to get her back. She's just like, it's all gonna go wrong for you.
because Maria can't understand that. Maria
Yeah.
can't understand wanting to go back into that situation.
Yeah.
She wants Navina to see things her way and give up and come back. It's not that she wants to take her back. She wants Navina to fail. She wants Navina to fail and come live the way that she lives. And it's that contrast between those two characters that really form that picture of what we're putting forward, what we're actually trying to understand about these characters. Because individually, they are just, a bitter woman and a simple child. But the way they interact, regardless of how limited that is really what puts forward how these ideas of isolation or community or belonging are really forced through. So yeah, it is absolutely a movie of themes. Going slightly into thoughts, I think it does it quite well.
Is that the end of Ali's theme corner? Is it their
Ali's
ending,
theme corner,
ending
yeah.
music?
There's no ending music. It's just going to Ali's theme corner.
Review time.
I adored this movie.
Oh, wow.
I genuinely did. It's, I would say the first 20 minutes are a bit of a slow burn. It takes a bit to get into it, but those 20 minutes are so vital that by the end of the movie, it's I'm not looking at those first 20 minutes going, oh, I wish they'd just sped that up. It has its place. It really it is used to great effect, and all the performances, whether the main characters or the side characters, the performances are fantastic. Genuinely, the camera work, scene to scene, plays so well on what you're meant to be feeling, what you're meant to be understanding through this story. I genuinely, it is a movie that is not about witching and not about magic or and for a horror podcast, I'm saying blasphemy. It's not even about the horror. It is about human connection. And I've not had a movie make me reflect on myself and my past the way that this movie has, at least not in a long time. I'm, in terms of score, I am swithering between an 8 and a 9.
Very good.
Is this where you turn around and go, it was fucking awful?
Nah, I didn't really.
Do you not? No.
Nah, I'll tell you for why. And the score, I can't give it a score. And the reason I can't give it a score is because I appreciate what it's doing, but I didn't particularly enjoy it. So the technique, really good. I mean, obviously there's a lot going on. I can't fault it for that. It's not stupid, you know. It's just, oh man, it was just, I had to take a lot of breaks, just like, right, I'm going to pause this and have 5 minutes of fun. And then I'm going to watch 20 more minutes of this. I really struggled with, and I think the reason I did is because it's themes. I mean, the way you described its strength was kind of my failure. Because it's so much about themes, you don't really care about the characters because they're not really characters. They're there to tell you about stuff. They're not there to, like, it's hard to be sympathetic to anyone. And I don't know, the performances were good in terms of, goddamn, Nomi was really up for, like,
eating hay,
doing whatever the fuck, like, yeah, exactly, all that stuff. But also, like, playing a mute character in, like, a fish out of water tale. Also, the fish out of water thing, I don't enjoy fish out of water stuff in
That's
general. Fair. There's something about it I find slightly cringy, just on a base level of, I don't enjoy watching, you know, Terminator 2. That did that. That's the most amount of fish out of water. Seeing him...
Not a fan of Thor?
When it's done for comedic effect, it's okay.
Okay.
But when it's done like straight, and they say that to be fair, good point, because Terminator 2 also did a comedic effect. But when it's done in a more dramatic style, that kind of fish out of water thing, there's just something about it I find slightly uncomfortable to watch. I don't know. It was so fish out of water. It was literally plucking. The movie's not about the witch, really. It's about plucking this person. It could have been a drama about someone who's just been abused by their mother.
Yeah.
And then the witch stuff is just to get the different gender roles in there. But just plucking this person out of complete isolation and going, boop, right, fit in now. Oh man, there's something about it that I just don't. It just makes me go. Ugh.
So, funnily enough, when I was between finishing the movie and this, I actually had the thought of, this is your November or my November, whatever way round.
Yeah,
like very much of that. Like, I appreciated November so much. It is an excellent movie, but I didn't enjoy it. And that is a total. And not every movie is for every person.
No, I know, of course.
Yeah, totally having that ability to appreciate, is hard.
Yeah, it is, and it's, when I'm thinking about the score for this, I'm like, I really don't know how to score this, because obviously your score is dependent on you enjoying it. You can't give something a 10 if you didn't like it. I'm not, you know, so so I'm not giving this a score, just because if you ask me to say, would you recommend it? I would say to you and no one else. I don't know. It's very specific, but I mean, it is the same as November. It's very artful. It's your elevated horror about a witch. We are not going to watch an elevated horror movie about a witch, because even for this podcast, we've done
too many.
We have done too many.
Yeah.
They need to stop making these now. They need to make them about other things. I will give this credit. This movie is an elevated movie, a horror movie about a witch, taken to the complete finish line. You now have an elevated horror. Elevated horror movies about witches are great because you can comment on, you know, historical like subjugation of women in society. This movie does that and finishes it. Wraps up with a bow and says, we have now said everything about this. I really do think they have, like, to its credit, I do think it has. We're not watching another elevated horror movie about a witch.
And that is totally fair. It is, you're absolutely right that I feel that in that, let's say, genre...
Don't get me started on elevated horror. I'll talk about it after you finish.
Oh no, I am literally meaning elevated horror about witch movies.
Yeah.
It is... It is the complete movie. It is the movie you want. If you watch one movie about elevated horror about witches, this is the one you should go and watch.
Yeah. I'd say more than The Witch and stuff. Like The Witch is a more traditional witch tale. Hagazusa was all right. Hagazusa was like the first draft of this, not in terms of the similar, but
totally. No, I was thinking the exact same thing. They are not the same movie in any respect, but Hagazusa is it's,
like thematically
it's
and stuff.
It's decent, but doesn't put everything forward as well as this movie does. The Witch. I mean, hey, other movies to watch, go watch The Witch.
Yeah, I know.
It's a much more palatable experience. If you're looking for a movie, and I love Robert Eggers.
Yeah.
The Lighthouse is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
It is not a bog standard popcorn movie by any respect.
I know. I was going to say, like, say if you want to dip a toe in elevated horror, go for that. And if you don't like that, fucking forget about all this.
Exactly. Yeah. This is very much.
This is way far beyond.
It's not an art movie, but it is more art movie than a lot of movies.
I would disagree with that slightly. I don't know if it's just because I didn't enjoy this film, but
this is such me in November.
I know. Well, that's what I'm saying. It is. It probably is just internal bias because I didn't particularly enjoy it. But in terms of horror, we're now way far off the beaten path. Even though this movie has like gore in it, and it's about a dark subject, and there's a lot of dark subject matter in it also. But
I mean, arguably, I would call it a supernatural drama more than anything.
Yeah, I think
like.
There's no tension to
none
moments. Like, see, when
there's no moment I felt scared.
No,
like
they actually don't care about building atmosphere in traditional ways at all. Because when the witch appears, albeit some characters are terrified of the witch, there's no music to accompany it. Her performance is very, very
muted.
Yeah, muted is a great way to put it. It's not like even though you know she's going to come back and there's going to be hell to pay, you're aware of that. The movie is not trying to make you dwell on that or be afraid of, she's going to come back or something like that. It's really not like that. So I think we are so far. We're so elevated.
Let's come back down, okay?
Oh, dear.
Next week we're watching Sinister.
Well, see, I don't like, this is a tangent, right? I hate the term elevated horror, which I was like, it's something that's been used now, a term that's been used recently, but it's been applied retroactively to all sorts of movies. Saw One Cut of the Dead being referred to as an elevated horror movie.
Fuck off.
But I'm just like, you can't call anything that's horror and good elevated horror.
Yeah,
that just makes you sound like a twat. Like, horror's always been different shades of stuff. Like, just because the dumb popcorn stuff exists doesn't mean we need another term for the stuff that's not dumb popcorn stuff. But this movie is supernatural drama. I'd say honestly, supernatural drama.
And it totally is.
And I don't know about drama.
No, I would say it's definitely a drama. Like,
but does drama not imply that it's to do with the character's plight? And I honestly don't think that's the focus of it. Do you know what I mean?
I absolutely do think that's the focus of it.
Well, we'll just have to agree to disagree on that.
No, absolutely. But I think that's why I like this movie, that outside of a situation where I'm putting forward like this, where I have to be kind of careful about how much I give away and stuff, like, I could talk about this movie for a long time.
Yeah.
Like, that way of, like, I could talk about Maria and Navina and those interactions and their interactions throughout society. I could just keep going on about it.
Yeah.
Like, that's where I feel it is very much about these characters' plights for me. But as you said, like, this I count as elevated horror, but only in the sense that, it's bringing in those supernatural elements. It is it's trying to. It is a movie trying to tell you something. It's not a movie where they made it and then tried to tell you something,
I think
they went in
if you
with that
watch this
idea.
movie and you don't get any of the messages they're trying to put across, I mean, honestly, you've not brought any kind of attention to this film at all. It is not. And I don't know if I like that, even though it's kind of like, it's like an onion, right? So you've got your surface level stuff, then you keep going down. There's more to it. I'm not saying there's not.
Tell me, Shrek.
But I don't like the fucking onion being chucked at my head, which is what this movie does. It's like, I do like to work a little bit harder than this film. So that's why I think for me, I think it's a lot of things, to be honest. And I'm not discounting the fact that it is definitely, there is definitely going to be an element of why I don't like it is because we've watched a lot of these. Mm-hmm. If it had come around earlier, or if I just hadn't watched Hagazusa and The Witch and November, and I'm probably forgetting other ones.
Oh, aye.
It might have done better, but I can't go back. You have to take experiences as you get them, unfortunately, and I can't lie about it. So we'll never fucking agree on a film. What?
I think we've agreed on like one or two.
One or two,
Yeah.
tops.
Oh, come on. This podcast would be boring if every movie we were I agree, Donald.
Right? I know exactly. It's just funny.
I think it's part of the reason we watch so many horror movies together is because we do have different opinions.
You're
on
fucking
them.
wrong, you prick.
Yeah.
If you like slow piano music,
Oh, yeah.
this film.
Well, would you like to hear what the public at large thought?
I bet they fucking hated it, by the way. Not only is it elevated horror, a lot of it is about a woman's role in society. I bet a lot of people that write reviews about horror movies on IMDb do not enjoy this film.
Right, I'll give you some... Right, there is one review on IMDb that I'm not going to... Because I don't know enough about the history of Macedonia.
Oh, yeah, don't do that.
But the title is Yet Another Trollus Skopje Propaganda Movie.
Oh, dear, yeah. Let's not
Wow.
touch any of that.
Wow, someone has opinions.
I actually don't... That actually touches on a point that I don't... Although there is the bit... Obviously, the old maid Maria's backstory touches on it a bit. I don't feel it's particularly centered on that culture
No.
in the way that November really was. It's really, I mean, it's maybe it's because it's made by an Australian Macedonian rather than...
Yeah, this movie could be set in 19th century Scotland and have the exact same movie.
It really could. It's not, it really isn't,
about
exactly.
Macedonia.
Yeah, it's not really.
I mean, the mention of the Turks is about like 2, maybe 3 times.
Exactly.
You could replace the, murder, the Turks, the Ottoman Empire murdering the Macedonian men.
Yeah.
You could replace that with anything.
Basically.
It is, I'm very much on that side of this is not a movie about Macedonia. It is just...
Yeah, 100%. In terms of when we watched like Taxidermia and November, there was a bit of, are we missing something here? Yes, probably.
November
But
is
not-
like the polar opposite,
Yeah,
where
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like this movie could not be made anywhere else. You Won't Be Alone could absolutely be.
Yeah.
You could pick it up and drop it in any country and it would
Yeah.
work. You could set this movie in Africa. You could set this movie in South America, and it would. You could make the same movie, and that's not disparaging it.
No,
that is
I think that can be I think that could be a useful thing. Yeah.
Well, Ed W 1976 said, by the way, these are all 1 out of 10s.
Obviously. And I bet...
Pretentious bullshit.
Yes.
Go watch paint dry. Count the lint balls in your dryer. Have an appendectomy. All are more entertaining and a better use of your time than this yawner.
I've had an appendectomy. He's wrong.
Yeah, you have. It's... You were not bored during
I'm
your...
offended. This is the first time I've been offended about something that's been read out from the internet. I'm
Wow.
the target market for that person's comment, and I'm telling you, sir, that I'm offended by that comment, and you don't know what you're talking about. Thank you.
Tanika says, for the people with utter miserable life.
Wait, the people watching it, because the people in it, most of it is quite miserable, but
Yeah,
surely-
no, they're saying if you're miserable, if your life is miserable, go watch this movie.
Oh, good, yeah, definitely.
That's what I always see when someone's miserable. I say, go watch a drama movie. I don't say go watch a comedy. Anyone who's given this movie more than a 5 is simply done with their lives, and their lives must be astonishingly boring and depressing that they think this movie is great. I don't feel offended, but I feel that's directed at me.
Yeah, I feel like they're expecting that you're like, woo, like with popcorn, having like, woo.
Yeah, a witch kills people, has sex with guys, and takes over their bodies. That's it. That's the movie. It's not.
Well, on one level it kind of is, but on many other levels it's not. The onions, the onion missed their head.
Yes. But there's so many onions. Who has that bad aim? He was dodging onions left, right, and centre. Sarah's Led says, "What did I just watch? This movie was beyond the scope of anything reasonable. During the course of this damn movie, I lost the point of it at least 3 times. And now in the end, I still don't know what the point is. Skip to the last 10 minutes and if you're stubborn and still want to watch it." That would be the worst.
Don't do that.
Just stop. See, if you're not enjoying this movie, just stop. Don't skip to the last 10 minutes.
That will mean nothing for you at all.
Yeah.
At one point, I did have to go, wait a second, rewind a minute, and then go, right, okay, sorry, I'm with you. I zoned out for a minute, and I did lose it. Don't skip to the end. You kind of need a bit of context.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit. A little bit.
Who are these people? That's one of them.
There is a 10 out of 10 review that mentions both Hagazusa and the Witch.
Yes. I didn't write that.
Yeah, because you don't think it's a 10 out of 10.
I didn't write it
You
or
don't
read
think
it.
it's a brilliant, imaginative, wonderful masterpiece?
No. Just in case they touch on any points I have said in this podcast, I didn't read that.
Yes.
Or any review. Thank you. And I never do.
I am the only one that looks up these, and only after I've watched the movie and formed my opinion.
Yeah. So what did they like about it? I'm just out of interest.
Yep. The dating of films that cloak their narrative in
stop talking.
Yeah, this is why I don't read out these ones, because they're not... This is 3 paragraphs long. With movies like this, with movies like this, the 10 out of 10s are never funny.
Oh yeah, no, yeah,
because it's
just people sniffing their own farts for a long time.
Yeah, it's people that don't have a magazine column.
Oh, sorry. That's fucking rich coming from me.
That's the scenario, 1 out of 10.
They don't have a fucking life. They're writing
on with our horror podcast.
Yeah, I know, right? We talked for an hour already. It's like, they've written 3 paragraphs about their opinion. Oh dear. But yes, those reviews are... I don't actually think this movie has Rotten Tomatoes ratings, but this is your classic 93% fresh tomatometer.
Yep.
20 to 30% audience score. Like,
easily.
This is your classic one. I think that is actually how I'm going to pick out an elevated horror movie from now on. Does the public hate it? Yes. Critics love it? Let's go. Other films to watch, we've already said. It's fine.
Yep. Hagazusa and The Witch.
November.
I'd say The Witch. Yeah, I would say November and The Witch more than... Like, if
no
you're
one's
wanting
gonna. No one's not gonna have seen The Witch. Though.
That's true.
So but it is what it is. 19th century Macedonia. He was smoking a cigarette. So that got me googling when cigarettes were invented. And
long time ago.
The late 1800s is when it was
really.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking also about North Macedonia as well. So it's like in America, it was like the late 1800s. Not invented, but it's about like when they were actually popular enough to be smoked in a North Macedonian village is what, yeah, there's not very much trivia. I did actually look up like what Nomi's thoughts on the film were, and there was a lot of improvisation in that performance, and I'm like, yeah, I can kind of guess there probably would be a bit of improvisation. Yeah, I think she was just having a whale of a time, just dicking around for a wee while. To be honest,
one thing I will say is that the performances of the 3 characters that she takes the body of do an excellent job of making you still believe that it's her within those bodies.
Yeah.
Not one of those performances you're like, oh, she's completely changed. Like, it just, all of them capture that essence so well.
Yeah. And even they do progress in terms of she's a bit better at fitting in and stuff like that, while also being freaked out because now she's got a penis or whatever. I cannot fault that.
Yeah.
No, I can't fault it.
It does have a Rotten Tomatoes page. It is 93% fresh.
No, I didn't guess that. I knew that.
But no audience score, despite 100+ ratings.
Yeah,
no
I knew it didn't have an audience score before. Which I do think is odd because, well, I suppose it's just not readily available yet. I guess.
Yes.
I don't know what kind of. It must have had limited theatrical, and that's it. I really thought it would have been out by now because it was reviewed ages and ages ago. But whatever.
It was released in the US in August. So,
right. Nomi was also in Lamb. We'll probably have to watch Lamb because off the top of my head, there's not too many horror movies from Iceland that I can name. So we're probably going to have to watch Lamb, but I'm going to leave it for a while because it's an elevated horror movie starring Nomi Rapace. So let's just leave it a bit, I'd say, right? Are you looking up Icelandic horror movies right now?
No, I'm looking up one specific movie.
Oh, right, okay. It's a folk horror. It's an elevated folk horror film. That's even. There's probably a witch in it.
Oh, God.
There probably is a witch in it.
Yeah, obviously, there's never any wizards, Donald. Men are pure innocents.
I actually watched an elevated horror movie about a wizard.
It was called Harry Potter.
It was really low budget as well. What the hell was it called? Was it The Alchemist's Cookbook?
That sounds familiar.
Yes, it was. The Alchemist Cookbook, yeah. Have you seen it?
No, I think I've only heard of it.
It's a guy who isolates himself. It's a total bottle movie. A guy isolates himself and like tries to summon a demon to blah blah blah. It was good. It was very low budget. It was pretty cool though.
Oh, it's American.
Yeah. What? In English? Yeah. I bet, right, I'm going to look up his Rotten Tomatoes score right now just to make sure it's got a really shit audience review. Yep, 80% tomatometer, 34% audience score. Elevated horror movie.
That sounds like our movie.
Well. Right, so where are we going next?
Where are we going next?
I don't know about you. I'm feeling a little bit homesick. We've come very far. We're not finishing, by the way. We've come very far since we set out. We're done. We've come very far since we set out. It's high time we nip back to see our mums, get some quality home cooking, check in with British horror again, right? So there's a director called Peter Strickland. I'm not aware if you've watched his films, but I know I haven't. He's made 2 films.
Okay.
That I've wanted to watch for a long time now, so I need an excuse to do it. So this is the excuse. So we're either going to do a 2-parter or 2-in-1, whatever we feel like. They are called Barbarian Sound Studio from 2012.
Love that band.
Starring Toby Jones.
Yep.
Toby Jones.
Toby Jones.
And In Fabric from 2018. Barbarian is a psychological horror. In Fabric is a comedy horror. They're probably both elevated to shit. I don't know. There's no witches in them though, right?
Woohoo!
So we're gonna try them out. I've heard his films can be a wee bit slightly divisive. So we'll see. It's
all
also
the
coming
best movies are.
Yes. Yeah. Well, fuck off. I see what you just did. So as we're coming up to Halloween, there may be a Halloween a special potted reviews of. Depends if we do a marathon soon. I have personal plans that might delay that slightly. We'll have to see about that. So I don't know what's going to come first, this Peter Strickland episode or the Halloween episode, but we will see.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. I need to get these guts out my chest. This is uncomfy. Oh.
I thought you were talking about shitting because I mentioned the chemical toilet.
No.
Do you want some Mastika? Here you go. It's lovely and piney.
I'm just going to hang this on our wing mirror. Our
Sorry?
rear view mirror. Hang it in our rear view mirror, get a lovely pine fresh scent throughout the
But
place.
it's a liquid. It's
What?
not a magic tree. Is that what they call them?
Is that what they call them?
Is that what they call them?
I don't
know.
think so.
A magic tree.
I'm just gonna take the guts of this dead dog and go for a sleep, okay?
Oh.
We'll see you all next time.
Okay. Bye, everyone. Goodbye.
Ruff.
Oh, dear.